So guys, welcome back. Today, we're going to explain the movie called Thama, which was recently released and has an amazing story that blends comedy and action thriller. So, without further ado, let's explain this movie and learn its amazing story. The movie begins, and in the beginning, we see a very scary and terrifying forest. This time period is 323 BC, where an English ruler is about to enter. Then, several of his soldiers stop him and say, "This area you're about to enter belongs to the Bataloo, and if you go there, you won't be able to return alive." But he disobeys them and goes inside. After this, all the vampires and Batal brutally kill him, along with all his men and the ruler, and drink his blood. The story then shifts to the present day, where we see the main protagonist, Alec. There are other heroes in this film, and this film is also connected to Stree too. Alec and several of his friends are heading towards a forest that is strictly forbidden. Therefore, none of his friends enter, and Alec ventures alone into the terrifying forest. He has only been inside for a short while when a large bear attacks him. This attack is terrifying, and the bear severely injures him and nearly kills him. But then Taraka arrives, saving him from the bear. However, Alec falls unconscious, and Taraka picks him up and takes him to her people. Here, we learn that Taraka and his entire group are Vetals, and they are extremely dangerous. However, they no longer drink human blood. Just then, Alec regains consciousness and looks around to see Taraka standing before him. Upon seeing Taraka, he falls in love with her at first sight. But after a while, he learns that they are all vampires. A short while later, we see a man named Rakshashan, the main villain of the movie, along with Sarkata and Wolf. Here, we are shown the same bear that attacked Alec. They throw the bear directly to the man, in other words, in front of Rakshashan so that Rakshashan can drink its blood. But Rakshashan refuses to drink its blood, saying that he needs human blood. We then learn about Rakshashan, who has been held captive for thousands of years. The scene shifts to Alec and Taraka, where Alec has all the same questions running through his mind that are still running through ours. Alec asks her what this is all about, and how are you all vampires? Taraka tells him the whole story, explaining that since 1947, these people have stopped drinking human blood because they saw humans fighting and dying among themselves during the 1947 war. Therefore, they believe that human blood is contaminated and refuse to drink it. Although they all desperately want to drink human blood, they still refuse. She also tells him about some of the rules. Drinking human blood is a serious crime here, and that entering humans is a serious crime for humans, and that vampires entering the human world is also a serious crime. And besides, do whatever you want here. Nothing is considered a crime. Taraka then tells him that Rakshashan is actually a very ancient ancestor of ours. Taraka then begins to tell him about Rakshashan, saying that he is also a very ancient ancestor of ours. But since 1947, he has been drinking human blood. That's why we have imprisoned him. But he is more powerful than all of us combined. However, thanks to the magic and priests here, he is still trapped. He is handcuffed, like a handcuff, on his hands. If he manages to break free, it will be impossible to stop him. While they are discussing this, the tribe and its leader enter the scene and, without thinking or listening, throw him straight into the cave. This means that Alec is thrown into Yakshashan's cave. Taraka tries very hard to save Alec, but she still couldn't save Alec. Once inside Yakshashan's cave, Alec engages in a bit of comedy and begins talking to him in English. Yakshashan, speaking in English, retorts that he's drunk the blood of many Englishmen, which is why he also knows English. Yakshashan was about to kill him and drink his blood. Just then, Taraka enters the scene and takes him away. They both run a long way, only to see a truck about to pass by. She tells him to jump overboard and return to his world. He replies, "I can't leave you." They are in love, But they haven't yet confessed their love because if Tadka stays there, her tribe will imprison her. Therefore, Tadka jumps into the truck along with Alec and reaches the human world. Alec then takes Tadka straight home with him. We see that Alec's house is filled with mourning, as everyone thought he was dead. Alec's mother and father, Goyle, were deeply distressed and weeping. However, as soon as they see Alec in front of them, they believe it's a ghost. Therefore, they don't believe it for a while. However, after some time, everything settles down and everyone accepts that Alec is still alive, because he is indeed alive. Tadka also starts living with him, as they both love each other. 2 or 3 days pass, and then we see that Alec's father begins to suspect her because Tadka doesn't use any doors to enter or exit the house, instead going in and out through the windows. We then learn that Tadka cannot eat anything, whether vegetarian or non-vegetarian. She only drinks blood, and Alec is a vegetarian, and he doesn't cook chicken or anything like that at home. So, he goes to a restaurant with Tadka to find something to drink. But Tadka, mistaking it for blood, drinks wine and begins dancing. Seeing her dance, some boys are attracted to her and approach her, but they also start teasing her. Alec takes action, confronts them and tries to convince them that she is his future wife. But they refuse to listen. They then start beating Alec, and together they beat him up badly. However, Tadka brutally beats them all and is about to drink their blood. Alec stops her and takes her home. But shortly after, a policeman named PK arrives and calls them both over, saying, "There's been a lot of bloodshed near your house, which happened at a bar. This bar is behind your house, and you two are inside. That's why I need to talk to you two." Quote, with that, he takes Tarika aside and begins talking to her. He reveals that he's also a vampire, showing her his teeth and other details. He says he's been living here for 150 years, and that he's come here to suggest Tarika surrender herself and return to her clan to serve her sentence. Otherwise, if her clan members come here, which they already are, they're the ones who killed everyone there, and they'll kill Alec too. The policeman was giving her the right advice to avoid all this, as Alec's life was also in danger because of them. Therefore, she decides to return to her tribe and surrender herself. Without telling Alec, she boards a bus and heads towards her tribe. Shortly after, Alec also receives this news, and he speeds off in his car. While overtaking Tarika's bus, he has a fatal accident, nearly killing himself. Tarika then gets off the bus and approaches him. His heartbeat is slowly slowing down, and he's dying. Even as he's dying, he confesses his love to her, but his heart stops and he dies. Immediately, Tadika bites him, and with her bite, he transforms into a vampire and comes back to life. However, his heart isn't beating, and thanks to this, he's become a vampire. His wounds are slowly healing, and he still looks very sick and extremely tired. The scene shifts to the hospital where he was being treated. However, due to the lack of a pulse, the doctors declare him dead and assume he's dead. However, he's not in his bed a short time later. He runs away and heads straight to the blood bank. As soon as he enters the blood bank, he begins to drink all the blood stored there at a rapid pace, causing him to heal even faster and all his wounds to heal. He then goes to Tarika and asks her the reason for all this, and Tarika tells him everything. He was about to die, even that he was dead. But by then, his father has also noticed his vampire fangs and red eyes, because whenever he lies, his vampire fangs and red eyes appear. Together, they tell his father everything that has happened to him. But his father says there's a cure. His dad has a friend who can help him with all this, and he goes straight to the doctor, who isn't actually a doctor but a tantric, whom we've seen in the Stree movies and mukhya. He tells the doctor, or the tantric, everything that's happened to him so far. But the doctor tells him there's no cure. The scene then shifts an hour back to see a man who was a friend of Varun Dharman from Wolf Stree. This means he was Wolf's friend, because we saw Wolf's condition in Wolf Stree that Wolf had become very weak at the end. That's why he came to the tantric to ask for a cure. The witch doctor told him that by drinking the blood of a vampire, he would be healed and successfully transformed into a wolf. Therefore, after everyone else leaves, he informs the man that there is a vampire nearby and gives him his address. In the next scene, we see Tarika explain to Alec all his powers, stating that Alec has now become a superhuman, possessing super speed and being able to run so fast that no one can see him, and that any pain will not affect him. Even his wounds will heal very quickly. Alec was alone. Then the wolf, Varun Dhawan, enters, demanding his blood. However, Alec refused to give his blood to a stranger. A fight ensues between them, and during the fight, Alec brutally beats him, saying, "You want my blood." Saying this, he cuts his hand and throws a few drops of his blood out the window. Seeing this, the wolf jumps up and drinks the drop, transforming back into a wolf. He is now severely beating Alec and is about to kill him when Tadka arrives and saves him. After saving his life, she goes straight to the policeman's house. There, they both talk to him, and Alec learns that the policeman is also a vampire. The policeman offers her a solution. You can save Alec's life only in one way, because your clan wants to kill him, and the wolf also wants to kill him. You can't save him from both. Quote, therefore, both of them surrender. The tribe takes them both unconscious. When Alec awakens, he discovers that Taraka has sacrificed herself. She will remain imprisoned for the next 100 years, in exchange for Alec's freedom. Alec, unable to do anything, heads straight to his home. His father tells him that he helped him through a very difficult situation, and now it's his turn. He then heads straight to the scene to rescue him. The handcuffs are removed from Yakeshan's hands and placed on Taraka, as Yashsan is now the new leader. However, most people are deeply saddened and against this, but they can't do anything. Alec challenges Yashsan directly, and Yashsan accepts his challenge. A fight ensues between the two, as Yakshasana has years of experience. Therefore, he easily defeats him, nearly killing him, and also drinks his blood, making him even more powerful. However, the priests and others have already unlocked Taraka's handcuffs, and Taraka arrives to rescue him. But by then, he is dead. Shortly after, we see a statue of God, from which a light emanates, falling directly on Alec, making him incredibly powerful. His heart is also beating, meaning he is both human and demon. After this, he easily defeats Yakshasana and handcuffs him, as he did not want to drink his blood. The movie ends with this. We then see a post-credits scene. Here, we see that the wolf is now thirsty for Alec's blood and wants to kill him. We also see Serket, who has come to rescue Yakshasana. Serket is the same main villain from the movie Stree, and he rescues Yakshasana. Here, Yakshasana is becoming increasingly powerful as he drinks the blood of ordinary humans. We'll be shown the next episode, where we'll see a fight between Alec and the wolf. This concludes the episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment on which movie you want the next video to be about. Thanks for watching.